people miss it for future. So I'm actually recording this call, guys. I've just started recording. Yeah. So if you look at the screen, it gives us an idea of the industry we're in. And basically, we're in the Forex market, which is a $6.1 trillion a day industry. The reason why I emphasize this, and in every presentation you hear most leaders usually emphasize this, is because it's important to keep reminding us where we are and the fact that we are actually the largest industry, actually financial industry in the world. If you look on the screen, there are different industries highlighted there in terms of how much income or millions is moved or billions is moved. And you can see Forex trumps the NFL industry moving stock markets. Yeah, this is just to give you an encouragement that along your journey, you're going to hit or challenges that actually want to convince you to quit or stop learning how to trade. But I just want to encourage you. If you've interacted with many traders in IML, especially locally, the likes of yesterday she shared with us that she blew like 6 accounts trading. But today she's one of the top master traders in to Pastor Lenin. He is also a master trader, and on Saturday he was sharing with us how he blew, I think, almost $500,000, if not $250,000 in trading. You know, so I just want to remind you that it doesn't matter where how slow your journey might be. I know some of you get frustrated with your journey and you want to make money today, but just know that all of us, all the professional traders globally, have all lost some money in the market. But what has made them who they are today is the staying power, meaning that they have not given up. They have gone back to the academy, and this is specifically to IML members. I myself am still in the academy. I still learn from the academy. There are still mentors I follow in the academy on a consistent basis because I am not nowhere near where I want to be as a trader. So in as much as I have success or some relative success in trading, I also know that I am not where I want to be as a trader. So I just want to encourage you and tell you that you're in the right place. You have a community of people who are here to support you, and just ensure that you increase your staying power, basically. So where do we begin? Usually I like this slide. I really like it because as traders, I don't know if we have already begun to plan, our trading. Dave Ramsey says a goal without a plan is just a dream. So we can all be thinking that we want to be fantastic traders and profitable traders on a daily basis, but if we don't have a specific plan, a written down plan, it will be a very difficult journey. Yeah. And this for me, I realized very, very early on in my first 3 months of trading or actually trying to learn how to trade. I really didn't have a plan. All I was doing was just trying to get into the market, trade, make money, losing money. I just didn't know what I was doing until the time when I sat down and I said, what, now what do I need to do? So the purpose of this call is actually to just enable you guys, especially the very new members on this call, to know where to get started. Yeah. And I like to start with this slide of the things that we need to have. For example, the applications that we need. This may sound obvious to most of us already, but to the new people on the call, because I know there are some new people on the call who probably signed up last week, you need specific apps on your phone. This is like the MetaTrader 4. MetaTrader 4 is basically our trading platform. This is where most of us, this is a platform most of us use to trade, and most professional traders around the world. Then we have the iMarkets Live app as well. We have the Legacy Worldwide app. The Legacy Worldwide is basically the global team app. Most of Team Kenya members are in, if not all, are in Legacy Worldwide team. And Legacy Worldwide is headed by Randy Webb and Wanda Webb. So they have an application that basically has trading 101 videos that can enable you to just, begin to introduce you to trading outside of the academy. Then we also have Telegram groups, and this is a big one. Telegram is actually our money chats, our money groups in IML. And the reason I say this is because there's a wealth of information. There's a wealth of traders who share a lot of valuable information on Telegram. So if you're not on Telegram and you're new on this call, I'll encourage you to download the app. I'll encourage you to ask the person who introduced you to share with you the groups that you should actually be a part of, namely Legacy Worldwide, obviously. Then we also have One Big Team. We also have Pips and Dips, especially for traders in Kenya. Then we also have the international trader groups like the Battle of the Pips. If you are part of the Battle of the Pips last week, please type 111 because I'm sure you guys made money. Yeah, if you are on that Telegram chat, because a lot of pips are being shared by some of the top traders within our Legacy Worldwide team. And then we have other Telegram groups, which are local trading channels. One's created by myself. There's one Fierce Scalper. If you're not on the Fierce Scalper group, obviously it would be good for you to get on. We have Miss GJ Kenya Alerts group, a fantastic group created by Miss GJ that focuses on trading GPY pairs. We have the Sniper group. This is a new Telegram channel led by Wyclef. And basically it focuses on his vector strategy, whereby he'll be sharing signals in that group based on that strategy. Then we have Queen of Harmonics as well. This is led by Nyambura Maina. She's basically a guru in harmonic scanner, which is our main traders tool in IML that comes with our initial platinum package. So if you want to understand how to trade the harmonics with the harmonic scanner, Queen of Harmonics channel will actually be able to help you with that. And we have several other Telegram trading groups. So what I'll suggest is speak to the person who introduced you and ensure that they put you in all the important Telegram trading groups. We also have Dr. K's ECC11 group. This is under the Legacy Worldwide team of Randy Webb, which is basically based on Dr. K's strategy and web analyzer tool. We've actually been using the web analyzer tool to trade and learn. And I know there are some people on the call who have success with the EC11 strategy. So I'll encourage you, there's so much resource in trading within the Kenyan community as well as the global community. There's no excuse for any of us not to be making money in the markets. Then something else we need to do is obviously goal setting. And here it, again, focus of this presentation where we are supposed to be setting our short-term goals, our immediate-term goals as traders, medium and long-term goals. Then we have, we're going to talk about our trading system as well. Trading system just based because I feel like once you develop your trading system, whatever that may be, it's like your guide to being a consistent and a profitable trader. Yeah, so that will be the focus of this presentation, the trading system. And then we also begin now, obviously, at the goal setting session. So I'll just quickly go through this slide. If you're new on this call, we have the short-term goals that you need. And if you're taking notes, just write them down for posterity, for future reference. If you're going to sign up anyone into IML to become a trader, these are the things that they need to do. Also, as leaders on the call, you need to be aware. If you're new, this is what you need to do within your first 72 hours to 1 week. Yeah. So if you haven't yet gone through the IML Academy, I would need to edit this slide from basics 1 to 24 because the academy has now been upgraded and it has a different format. But basically, we still have the basics of it. So it's important within your first 72 hours of joining IML as a trader, please go through the IML basics section. Yeah. Secondly, set up your demo account. Yeah, demo account is your practice account. Now, the demo account is something that you will use forever, according to me, because right now I practice on demo with assets like Bitcoin. That's what I've been practicing on demo the last 2 weeks, because I know that it's something that I want to also perfect my trading on. And as new traders, you want to practice there as long as possible. make all the mistakes you need to make, and to also give you the confidence to actually be able to go live. So something else you need to do within your first 72 hours to a week is to set up your live account. So if you just signed up, please speak to the person who introduced you to actually enable you to set up your demo and your live account. We want that by the end of the first week, at least you've taken at more than, let's say, if you're doing 10 trades a day in your demo, you should at least have done 50 trades in that week in demo. And by the end of the week, you should be confident enough to go live. Now, I always encourage new traders to begin their live trading with a minimum of $100. Some people start with less. I started with $26 initially. But what I have learned over time is sometimes you'd want some extra room to play with, and $100 initial investment actually gives you that room. You can actually start with less, but $100 gives you the room to actually be able to grow your account, understand a bit more of trading, maybe not blow it too soon, and so on. So that's the in the short-term goals. So your medium-term goals, yeah, this is within the first 90 days. And emphasis here is on a trading journal. I think this is one of the key elements within my trading journey that has enabled me to become a successful, or I should say relatively successful trader in my strategy. And because it has enabled me to literally write down every single trade that I take. When I make money, I know. When I lose money, I know. I'm able to keep track. So the trading journal is just supposed to enable you to keep track. Yeah. And I know Mimi, one of our master traders, has some trading journals she's been sharing with the team. So if you actually want one that looks fancy and all, speak to Mimi. It's really nice. It actually outlines how, I'm trying to look at one right now. It basically gives the date gives you a column of date, your currency pair, your entries, buy and sell, stop loss, take profit, and all that. So it just enables you to just begin to track what you're doing. This is very important. If you don't use her journal, you can actually use a hard-covered book, a counter book. I also use a hard-covered counter book, and I manually just write my trades. This is also assisted by the 90-day trading sheet. I'm sure you're all familiar with this. This has been upgraded. I think it's now titled the $1 Million Run Excel sheet. And literally what this sheet looks like is, it's just an Excel sheet. I'm trying to see if I can maybe share my screen and show you how mine looks like. But I'll share that later in the presentation. And it has columns whereby it has a column whereby it shows you your initial investment amount that you can start with, whatever you start with. And then it populates information across the sheet based on your growth per day. So let's say if you want to grow your $50 account at 10% a day, it actually is able to calculate or predict how much you'll be making if you're using a specific lot size. So in the beginning, this 90-day sheet is helpful, especially if you're looking to compound your profits or your account. And if you're like on a 90-day run, and that's why it's dubbed the 90-day $1 million run, because in 90 days, guys, you can literally grow a small account to a 6-figure income account. Yeah, if you're trading profitably, and maybe not even in 90 days, let me say 90 profitable trades. So it just allows you to know how to adjust your lot sizes and also your risk. So usually I tell people risk about 1 to 3% of your account and target to maybe grow a minimum of maybe 2%, 1 to 2% of your account a day. But of course, the $1 Million Run sheet also gives you up to 10% a day. So that's just basically based on what your goals are. Of course, this is very individual, but I would be able to guide on the same. So that's the medium-term goals. Then we have our trading system, like I said, which is the focus, and we move on to our long-term goals. Long-term goals, this is basically, what are your goals as a trader within your first year? I can tell you for sure my goal as a trader is to get to a point where I am making $1,000 a day. And the only reason is because I know there are traders out there who already make $1,000 a day. So for me, it's an achievable goal. And I want that to happen by the end of this year. End of this year or even sooner. But $1,000 a day, if I'm trading 3 times a week, that's $3,000 a week. So you can do the math, you know. I'll really be excited once I'm able to get there. So what are your own goals? What are your long-term goals in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years? Yeah, have a plan. Remember, a goal without a plan is just a dream. If you're just if you don't know where your end is, you'll not be able to actually get there in good time. You probably will get there, but it will not be with focus. And the purpose of this call is just to enable us as traders to gain some focus, yeah, or to refocus. And then long-term goals are also maybe goals to do with your Forex lifestyle. I like to highlight this because for me, it's important to actually be able to see myself or see my life in a couple of years. What kind of lifestyle will I want to be leading as a trader? I imagine myself being able to travel the world and trade from anywhere. I can be at the beach, at the coast, I can be in Zanzibar, I can be in the US, but I'm still able to trade. I have that image in my mind, you know. What kind of a life will I be leading in terms of income? Like I've already emphasized, you know, like, and what can the income that I earn be able to do for me? Many of us joined IML for different reasons. Some of us joined IML to finish projects that we started and were unable to finish because of financial constraints. Some of us joined IML because we wanted to grow our income tenfold in 2019. Some of us joined IML because we didn't have an income and we wanted to get a lucrative income, you know, on a monthly basis or a daily basis. So this income basically is to fuel our lifestyle. And this can go even beyond income. It can go to aspirational things like where you want to be as a leader in IML, or just your personal business and your personal life. You know, your family life as well. What kind of a family person do you want to be? And can IML get you there, and can trading get you there? So write these goals down. Find a mentor. I'm very big on this. This morning we listened to one of my biggest mentors called David Imoniti. He's a 36-year-old. And this guy started with a mentor when he was 21 or something. When I listen to him, I'm just like, wow, when he was 21, he had a mentor, you know. So it just means that for you to achieve great success in trading, you need a mentor as well. That mentor could be in Kenya, that mentor could be in Team Kenya team, that mentor could be overseas, you know, in like, let's say the likes of David Hoyt, Dr. Kathy Kland, our traders in the Master Academy, Stephen Lindo, Abel Melendez. There are so many. Like our IML TV, for the new members, IML TV can give you the mentors that you need to actually be able to become a profitable trader. So I'll just remind you, find someone who is good at trading and you want to become like them, and align yourself to them. Yeah? Have a sit down with them, whether in person or on chat. Find out their routine on a daily basis. For example, for me, I when I wake up every single day, or the previous night, I usually look at my trading charts. I analyze them. So by the next morning, I know what currency pairs I'll be looking at in the coming week. We have our mentorship call on Sunday nights at 9 o'clock every Sunday on IML TV with our CEO and other master educators who are able to just prepare us in trading for the week. So on Sunday, for the new people on the call, please ensure that you note it down to actually be able to just listen in on that call so that you can be able to interact with some of the mentors in IML. And then remember, or keep reminding yourself why you joined IML. Like, what's your why? Why did you join IML? This is extremely important, because if you want to start making money, let's say you start making $5 a day, to get to $1,000 a day, it'll need you to keep reminding yourself why you even began. So write it down. Don't forget to write it down. There's a saying that says, write, I think it's in the Bible, write your vision, cast it, and I'll remember it. Write your vision and make it plain so that the heralds may run away with it. It's in Habakkuk, I believe, chapter 7. Write your vision down. Write it down. I can't emphasize this enough. Yeah. And make it plain so that the world can see it, so that anyone can see it, so that you can keep seeing it every single day. And then things that I will request that you don't compromise on. This first and foremost is completing the IML Academy. I know even as older members, some of us may not admit it, but I know some of us have not yet completed the IML Academy. I'm going to encourage all of us, please complete the IML Academy, from the basics to the intermediate to the technical analysis, fundamentals. I mean, guys, we paid 25,000 Kenya shillings to actually learn how to trade through the academy. Sometimes we get distracted, and at the end of the month, we are like, we can go on YouTube to learn more, we can begin to learn on our own and things like that. But remember why you joined. Yeah. You joined because you thought that IML was going to take you to your dream life, that IML was going to take you out of your current situation that you're not very happy with, or you're not as excited with. So don't make your investment of 25K a waste, and make sure that you make the most of it. Complete the academy. Yeah, the academy has more than enough for you to learn. And then, of course, we have the IML TV, which I love, 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 love. There are over 60 educators from the very basics level to the advanced. Please plug into the IML TV every single day. Plug in. Again, you pay 25K, and every month you're paying 17,000. Yeah, to continue to access this information. Make the most of it. I've been in this trading game for the last 7 months, and initially I took it for granted from a personal perspective, and I'm being honest with everyone on the call. But the minute I began to plug in, I began to see results, and you can take that to the bank. Yeah, so please don't take it for granted. Then again, I talked about Telegram. Plug into Telegram daily, and then also post your successes and learnings. And the reason I like to encourage people to do so, when you learn something new, please share it, because when you share, you also become better at what you're doing. So if you're learning something in your trading and it's working for you, you can begin to share with other new traders on the call, or even older traders. I always learn from my fellow traders, even my master educators. Yeah, I mean my fellow master traders rather. In Kenya, I usually learn a lot from them, and I usually log into their trading sessions, because I know that there's something I can pick out, in as much as I'm making some money in trading. And post your successes. When you make some money, shout and celebrate, let the world know, because Forex is here to change people's lives. Don't keep this information to yourself. Let people know. Share your successes, share your screenshots within the team. We don't mind seeing it. Some of us might feel inspired by seeing your successes. And then develop your trading system, which is the focus again of the presentation. And then begin to just take in information to do with trading. There is a world of information to do with trading. There are books that you can read. A book that was recommended by one of my mentors, Randy Webb, is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. We have shared it a couple of times on Telegram. I don't know if people have begun to read that book. Newbies, please, there's even an audio book on YouTube. Please just access this book. It's really an interesting book. You learn a lot. I know it has been shared in the Pips and Dips group. So you can actually access a PDF or an audio version there. And yeah, please don't make excuses. In terms of, let's say, for example, I know I've overheard people, when you lose money in the market, you get, yes, naturally, you get frustrated or discouraged, and it's only human. But don't let that become your excuse to stop you from learning and keeping at it. Sometimes there's a lot of information that is shared in the groups, and we get overwhelmed. The groups can be so busy sharing information, pips and dips, and like, and people are talking, are typing 111s, and sometimes as a new trader you're wondering what is going on, and then you're like, no, I can't do this anymore. Don't plug out, stay plugged in. In the beginning we all feel overwhelmed. I can tell you, when I started trading, I was very overwhelmed. But the minute I told myself that I have no otherwise but to learn, and plugged in, everything changed. Yeah. And I love this quote that says, you can make a million excuses or you can make $1,000,000. So guys, if you want to make $1,000,000, quit with the excuses. Yeah. Always be there to learn from different traders. Keep reading on trading. You can never learn enough. Post your successes, plug into Telegram daily, follow a master educator or two, and complete your IML Academy. Then we have my learning. So I like this bit, I like it because it's very simple. I just like to share what I have learned along my trading journey. And I'll tell you, at the very beginning, we all begin with this mindset of, I want to make a ton of money. I want to make a lot of money. I want to win in the markets, And it's okay, because that's why we all join IML, and that's why we all get into Forex trading, because we want to make a ton of money. However, we need to transition from focusing so much on the money in terms of how much we want to make, because sometimes it can also be our stumbling block, because the minute you start losing money instead of making money, you then become easily discouraged and taken out of the game. Yeah. So what we want to transition into is where we are saying we want to become consistent traders and consistently profitable, yeah, in our trading journey. Meaning that, yes, we are making money, but it makes more sense to speak from a positive perspective of saying, I want to do this consistently in terms of becoming profitable. Yes, we want to win, yeah, but in this market, you're not always going to win. That's the reality check. New traders on their call, you're not always going to win every single day. I also lose money. There are days I lose money, yeah. So I would be lying if I said every single time I trade, I make money. That's a big lie. Yeah. And all traders around the world will tell you the same thing. Even Mr. GJ, who can clock $8,000 in a trade in a day, he also loses money. And that's why I think it's important for people to not only share their successes, but also share their losses. Because when they share their losses, I remember on Saturday, Lenin shared how much he had lost in a trade. And some of us were like, oh my God, we complain about our $10 that we lost or our $50 accounts that we blew. Some people have lost $2,000, $3,000, half a million Kenya shillings in a trade. If you speak to the likes of Alligator, who's a master trader, who makes like $1,000 a day, he's lost money in the market as well. Some of our biggest educators in the academy, I know I mentioned him a lot, Steven Lindo. I remember I learned this in the Vegas event, and he told us that in one trade, he lost $150,000 in one trade. If you can do the math, guys, on the call, $150,000 is how much? That's 15 million Kenyan shillings. I don't know where we would be if we lost 15 million Kenyan shillings in one trade. But guess what? He's a master trader, and of course, he's made 100 times more, than the 15 million he lost. Yeah, so we all lose. But what we want to become is, we want to create a system that works for us, and we want to be able to execute our system flawlessly. Yeah, we want to become disciplined traders. And I think this is very important. I'll give you an example. For example, for me, it is just me. Yeah, and I avoid, for example, trading on Mondays and Fridays. This is just me. I'm not telling you to do the same thing, but this is what has been working for me. And I focus on my trading on Tuesdays to Thursdays. I'm also very deliberate about this because outside of trading, I'm also building the business. So you'll find that on Mondays, my focus really is on building the business in terms of just sharing about IML with friends and family. So I really focus more on that on Mondays. And I find also why I find that day okay for me to do other things is because also sometimes on Monday the market can be a bit slow. It tends to build up towards the end of the day from the New York session. So rather than just staring at my chart the whole day, trying to look for trade opportunities or getting stuck in a trade, I don't know if you guys have ever gotten stuck in a trade. You get stuck in a trade, it's moving at a snail's pace and it's in red. It is one of the most frustrating things you can go through as a trader. So to avoid those things, I try to create a system that I follow. So for me, I trade on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Mondays and Fridays, I rarely ever trade. And anytime I have traded on those days, especially Fridays, I have lost money. This is just me. I know there are people who make tons of money throughout the week. What I'm saying is create your own discipline as a trader. And then if you're going to be trading, are you going to be trading the whole day? I know we say we like to think that the more we trade, the more we win. That isn't true. I can tell you for free. You can sit the whole day looking at your charts and trading and getting in and out of trades, or you can plan yourself in such a way that within 1 or 2 or 3 hours, you've done your trading for the day and you're done and you've made your profits and you're out of the market. I think it's a better strategy because it also enables you to set targets. Again, going back to what are your targets for the day? How much do you want to make in a single day? If it's $50, you then have to build a discipline of getting out of the market once you have reached your target of $50. Newbies on the call, new traders on the call, even older members. I'm sure Mr. Kiraive on the call can even testify and say sometimes you hit your target of the day, you made your $150 or your $200. And then what happens? Instead of getting out of the market, you hear Mr. GJ has called a trade, or Fear Scalper has called a trade, or Miss GJ has called a trade. And you believe you have a lucky streak going and you get back into the market. And what happens? Either you lose all the profits you have made for that day, sometimes even for the week, or you get stuck in a trade for days. Yeah, and you're unable to then get out of the market profitably. And remember, a professional trader wants to be a consistently profitable trader. So if you're not disciplined, it follows that you'll not be consistently profitable. So have a meeting with yourself. I like to borrow from Miss GJ when she says, have a meeting with yourself. What kind of a trader do you want to be? Do you want to be trading every single day? Fine. How long in a day do you want to spend time in the markets looking at charts? Once you have established that, don't get out of that routine. It takes about 21 days to build a habit and 90 days to build a lifestyle around that habit. So if you're consistent about your trading style for 21 days, I can tell you in 90 days, you'll be trading the same way and you'll be a profitable trader. And then something else we need to know in terms of our professional mindset is that winning and losing are necessary for you to develop your edge. Yes, we want to win a lot of the time, but losing is part of winning. So when you lose, it's not a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal. It's real money we are working with, and it's hard-earned money that you're losing in the market. However, it is necessary for you to actually lose money to learn. So this is not Forex is not a get rich quick scheme. Guys, Forex is not a get rich quick scheme. Sometimes I hear people saying, I just want to get to $1,000 a day or $50 a day or something. And, I want to trade and trade and trade. I see people sitting the whole day trading, and it's fine, again, because maybe that's your discipline. But then I just want us to get out of the space of being in a hurry to make money. The market is there for us. it's not going anywhere. It's a 24-hour market, 5 days a week. For those who trade cryptocurrency, it's a 7-day-a-week market. It is not going anywhere. Yes, so we need to develop a mindset whereby we know that we can win and we can lose. And even when we lose, we need to know that we should stay committed to our system, whatever our trading system is. So I also want to point out that if you're going to follow a trader, for example, you like Miss GJ, I'm sure you'll have noticed that all traders trade differently. We borrow for a lot. I borrow heavily from my mentors in trading and other traders, but my trading style is also probably slightly different. I am a scalper. So right now, and maybe in the coming months, I may transition into becoming a swing trader. But right now, I am a scalper because my goals are to make money every single day that I trade and get out of the market. Now, if you're a scalper, and you try to do a swing or to take swing trades, you'll find that it becomes very frustrating as a trader because scalpers, our personalities are very different from swing traders. Swing traders, I believe, are the most patient people in the market, the likes of Mimi, the likes of, I know, what's her name? Nyambura is an intraday trader. She's probably more patient than I am. I'm not saying that I'm not a patient trader, but my trading style does not encourage staying in the market for 3 days. I don't like to stay in the market for 3 days. When I stay in the market for 3 days, I get frustrated. So I follow traders who are scalpers, if at all I'm learning from them. So I'll just encourage you, if you're going to follow a specific trader, if you're going to follow Wycliffe, who's teaching on vector strategy later this week, please learn his strategy and stay committed to it. Don't mix it up with so many strategies. When I started trading, I remember I was all over the place, all over the place. Let me tell you, all over the place. I was learning from Randy. I was learning from Dr. K, which of course their styles borrow from each other. I was learning from David Hoyt. I was learning from Lindo. I was learning from Abel. I was learning from Adeza. I was all over the place. I was doing binary options. Anyone who has ever tried binary, you will know that it's just a high level of risk type of trading, exciting but very high risk trading. And I was not making progress because there was nothing that I was perfecting. I would encourage you for at least a month to 3 months, stay committed to one system. When you get good at it, then you can transition into another system. Yeah. Basically, what are the rules of engagement? Know what you're looking for in the market. What are the market conditions, for example? Usually the different styles of trading. If you're trading, for example, using the cloud strategy that we were taught by Dr. K and Randy and David Hoyt, what are the conditions that you look for in the market? You know, things like, for example, when the red line is above the blue line. For the new people on the call, you begin to hear this red line, blue line. What does that mean? What does the cloud mean? You know, people who use, let's say, different tools, like they use, let's say, the moving average, different indicators, for example, the moving averages, and things like that. People who use MACD, what do these indicators mean? And if I'm going to use them, how do I use them? So in developing your trading system, if you're going to use the cloud, you need to fully understand the parameters around the cloud. If you're going to use, for example, the moving averages, what does the 20 MA, the 50 MA, the 200 MA mean? What are the variables? If something, let's say, for example, if the candles are below the cloud, then what next? Does that mean you jump into the market immediately for a sell, or do you wait? So you need to have a checklist. For me, I have a checklist. I learned this from Randy. Randy is a very conservative trader, and he has checklists, even for his ECC1, even for the ECC11 strategy that they've been teaching with Dr. K. They have a checklist. You don't just jump into the market. you look for the things, the irreducible minimums, the things that have to be there, that, for to give you an indication to enter the market, the things that are variable, because sometimes you might see an opportunity, but there are some things that are showing you that this opportunity is not yet ripe. So what are the conditions that give you a ripe condition for you to get into the market? So know what you're looking for, and then risk to reward. What is your risk to reward ratio? This basically means, what are you willing to risk to be able to earn as your target goal in terms of income? So if you're willing to make $50, what are you willing to risk? Yeah. If you're going into a trade, what are you willing to risk to lose in case the trade goes in the opposite direction? Because we all know that sometimes trades do not always go 100% the way we think they'll go. So I always encourage new traders, risk 1 to 3% of your account at a time. And then something else that I do, you'll notice with me and my trading style, I never get into more than one trade at a time. On demo, you can get into as many trades as possible, yeah, because you're trying to learn. But when you're going into a live trading scenario, I always encourage first-time traders, please do not get into more than 1 or 2 trades at a time. Let the trade close out before you jump into another. I know we are going to get very tempted with all the tips that are going to be shared this week in the different channels on the that are going to be there. But I'm going to encourage you. I have seen people blowing accounts simply because they were impatient and they were taking too much risk with their accounts. And then know what tools to use as well. For me, I use trend lines. I use channels as a trading strategy. I use support and resistance. I never get out of this trading system. I know there are many other things that you can use MACD, you can use moving averages, you can use oscillator. I don't know what oscillator. There's so many things that you can use. For me specifically with my trading strategy, I only use the indicators I use are basically the cloud, and then I use the trend lines, support and resistance, and that's it. Anytime I've veered out of this, I have lost money. So I'm going to encourage the new traders on the call, and even the older traders, begin to develop your style. And because when you become consistent, you are likely to have a higher winning rate. When you become consistent, you also become very confident in the market. And my goal for my team is to help each one of you to become confident in the market. Confidence will stem from picking an asset and sticking to it. What does this mean? Miss GJ, Mr. GJ, you will see they trade 1 currency pair or 2 currency pairs, and they've perfected this, their trading with these assets. Yeah, let's say GBP, JPY, before they transition into trading other assets. So before you jump into indices, are you good at trading currencies? Are you consistently profitable trading currencies? Like, are you making money trading currencies? I know, like, for example, I trade indices, but by the time I got into trading indices, US 30, GR 30, AUS 200, I had to become good at trading currencies. Let's not get caught up in trying to make money and we forget that we need to perfect our system. And once we become successful in the currencies, we can then move into other pairs. We can move into trading gold. I personally try to avoid trading golds, but I know people like BK, Rono, Miss GJ are really good at trading gold. You know, I keep on saying gold is a kind of asset that leaves the room. You know, it leaves me in the room and I'm left there wondering what's happening, you know. So for me, because I know my trading style, I don't necessarily trade gold. I love the indices and I love currencies. And I'm also getting into cryptocurrency as well. But I didn't start with all three. I started with one currency pair, and then I increased to multiple currency pairs, and then I went to indices and cryptos and all that. So that's what I'd encourage you to do. And backtest your strategy like there's no tomorrow. Again, this builds on your confidence. Backtesting can be done in your demo. Anytime I am unsure about a trade, I go into my demo. And my demo account is where I make all the mistakes that I need to make, because we are not in the business of losing money, guys. So in as much as we want to trade and make money in our live accounts, before you go into the live market, please just backtest. There's no harm in taking extra time before you go live, yeah, because you want to be confident by the time you're going live. And then again, going back to the trading journal, know your win rate. This is because this will happen because you know how many trades you're taking, and you're monitoring how many you're winning and how many you're losing. If you're able to keep this journal and you're able to know your win rate, again, it adds to your confidence as a trader. For me, I know my success rate in trading has been over 80%, and it's evident even in the channel, in my channel fee as scalper. Many of the trades, like last week, for example, the 140 pips that I shared last week all hit take profit. So for me, I know that I know my win rate, and that gives me confidence. That gives me confidence to wake up on Monday to get into the market to trade, or to go back into the academy to just perfect something that maybe is still giving me problems understanding and things like that. Another big one is know when to get out. Don't overstay your welcome, guys, in the market. Know when to get out. I don't even know what to say, but I have watched accounts being obliterated in the market because traders do not know when to get out. I have blown accounts personally because I did not know when to get out. My biggest loss in the market, if I can share with everyone on the call, was I had two incidences. And I think I shared with my fellow traders much later after I had already, gotten over the loss. I think with US oil and gold, was it US oil and gold? Or US oil or GJ? I can't remember, but all I remember is the amount, where in a day I lost $1,700 in two trades. And I remember US oil, I lost about $1,400. So I've lost money in this market. And I remember the reason why I lost money was because I kept looking at my screen and hoping that the red was going to turn into blue. I don't know if you guys have been there. You're just seeing negative, 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 negative. Before you know it, you're at minus 50. Before you know it, you're minus 100. Before you know it, you're minus 900. Before you know it, you're minus 2,000. And before you know it, you've blown your account. I don't want you guys to have to go through what we as traders who did not have necessarily a good guide in the beginning, because all of us were learning at the same time. But now you have traders who you can learn from and who are already good. Please learn from their mistakes. You don't have to lose money to that extent to be able to, to learn. Learn from our mistakes. You don't need to be experienced in losing money. So know when to get out. If you have $100 account, if you're risking 1 to 3% and you've lost more than $3, don't wait to lose $10 to get out. Unless you're very sure that your trade is going to turn. I'll give you an example. Indices like US 30 and GBP pairs tend to move a great deal, and gold as well. So if you analyze the trade and you're well leveraged, the pullbacks can be up to 100 pips, So if your account is well leveraged, yes, you can be comfortable and watch your account going 100 pips backwards, But if your account is not leveraged and you know that you're not sure that this trade is going to turn, just get out. Take your loss and get out. What it also does, it creates room for you to begin again. So let's say if your account has gone to $50 and you have $100, sometimes take the loss so that you can begin to build. You can begin to build again, because I've seen people holding trades for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's okay. I guess that's part of the learning journey. But for me personally, yeah, I cannot hold a trade for more than a week. I usually by Friday, my goal is every single week I want to make a withdrawal. So I'm going to give you guys a good tip. Withdraw your profits, guys. Even if you make $10 that week, withdraw it, especially at the beginning. I know we are doing a 90-day compounding challenge. We've been doing a 90-day compounding challenge. If you can have maybe 2 accounts, one for compounding and one for withdrawing, I would encourage that. But if you don't have 2 accounts and you only have one when you're starting, please get into the habit of withdrawing. The reason is, if you're withdrawing money from your trading, your profits, it means that you're actually making money, and you're actually going to use that money to do whatever you need to do out here. But if you're making money and it's just in your account and you're looking at it, guys, you're not really making money, to be honest, because it's just in your account. If you're not using it out here, then you're just, I don't know how else to say it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I've made so much money in the market, but because I didn't know when to withdraw, I lost a lot of it. That's how I was able to blow $1,700 in a trade, because I was building the account and I never withdrew the monies. And only until like my 4th month trading did I begin to understand the power of withdrawing. Because when you withdraw your profits, it means you're getting to a point whereby you're going to be playing with market money. So you're no longer trading your capital. You withdraw your capital and your profits, and what you're left with every week is market money. So even the way you trade, it just makes you a more confident trader, because you're not losing any more of your initial investment. So I want you guys to get to a point whereby if you can build a habit of withdrawing every week on Friday. Some people I know, like Rispa was sharing with me, she withdraws on a daily basis. I don't know how that is working for her. I know some traders withdraw on a daily basis. I know if you have a broker that withdraws with M-Pesa, it makes it possible. For me, because of my trading style and my target, again, we go back to goal setting and what your goals are. I prefer to withdraw at the end of the week. So it doesn't matter if I get into a bad trade on Friday and it's killing my account. I will, by the end of the day, I will take the loss and I will withdraw whatever I'm left with. I will not try and make it up again on Monday, because you don't know what will happen on Monday. On Monday, you could lose everything, and then it won't matter whether you made money the previous week. So we are all about building confidence, and again, our goal is not to just lose money, but to execute our system perfectly. So finally, every time you execute your system perfectly, reward yourself. So guys, if you make a win in the market, celebrate. Even if it's $1 that you made. I like at Olive, sometimes you sit with traders and some traders are like, I made $10 or I made $5. And sometimes we can take it for granted as older traders, because of course our goals are to make like $100, $200 a day. And we're like, but what is a $1, $2? But $1 is 100 bob, $2 is 200 bob. That is coffee, that you can buy for yourself. Let's celebrate our wins. Yeah. I know on the right I've written like what's not important is is forecasting skills, predictions, having pretty charts. What I mean is it's not necessarily that these items are not important, but our focus should not be on just having great analysis, having great charts, having perfect predictions, because the market will do what the market, I always tell people, the market will do what the market will do. You can never 100% predict where the market is going. There's no trader in the world who can 100% every single time, every single day, predict where the market will go. So what you should be working on is getting a system that the market can fit into your system. So meaning that, like I said from the beginning, if you're going to trade a certain, if you're going to risk a certain amount of money in the market, 1 to 3%, risk 1 to 3% consistently. Whatever the market does, you'll always be safe. You'll not be over leveraged. If you're going to trade a certain currency pair or a certain asset, trade that currency pair or asset consistently. If you're going to use support and resistance, or you're going to use Ichimoku, or you're going to use vectors, whatever you use them consistently. The goal here is not to become, not to lose money, it's to execute your system consistently and perfectly. So I hope this call has been helpful. If there are any questions at this point in time, I will take questions very quickly. We are 5 minutes past 8 o'clock. So maybe I can take a few questions. Yeah. And as you're thinking of your questions, if you look at this last slide, it says, don't let anyone steal your dreams. I think this is important to re-emphasize. We keep talking about it every single day. Do not let anyone steal your dreams. I don't know how to, I just think that this is a very important slide. Sometimes you hear people saying, that they look at certain traders and maybe today a trader gave you a trade and it didn't go too well, and I've had people whining about I'm in this trade and I don't know who called it, and and it's okay to be frustrated when a trader makes a call and it doesn't go your way, but if you take it negatively, you're actually killing your dream. Yeah. And we are here and we are always learning. Yeah. I am a student always. I lose money in the market. I may just have had a very successful winning streak the last couple of weeks, especially in the Fear Scalper group. However, I lose money in the market. So if I ever share a trade and it goes the wrong way, I see people panicking in the group. If you have leveraged well, if your risk management is good, you should not panic. But even if you risked well and things just didn't go the right way, do not pass on blame for your failure on somebody else. You're letting someone else steal your dreams. Yeah. So focus. The reason you joined is not that so that you can, let's say, necessarily follow a trader for the rest of your life. The reason you joined IML is so that you could learn for yourself how to trade. So I'm going to encourage everyone on this call. We are going to support you as traders to trade. We are going to support you by sharing our pips and in the groups and go out of our way to analyze charts for you. But what we are doing, a lot of us are also volunteering to help our team. Let's not take this for granted, yeah, and let's not become entitled about it. Yeah, let's know that the academy is there to teach us and we are here to learn. So that's the end of my presentation. If there are no questions, for the next 15 minutes or so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share on my strategy. I think I like to end this call on that. So let me just exit my screen. Now, for me, for those who may not know, there's a lady called Jasmine. I think many of us at the very beginning of our trading journey, majority of us who joined last year, we were following Jasmine and Randy a lot. And Jasmine Schaefer is a lady, she's a young lady, she's a young trader who, can you guys see my screen? Type 111 if you can see my screen. Can everybody see my screen? Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Jeremiah. Okay, so Jasmine Schaefer is, I think she's a 25-year-old. And we were learning from her at the very beginning of our trading journey. And she has a group called Schooled by Jasmine. I used to add a lot of new members into that group at the very beginning when I was also still learning, because I felt like the group had a lot of value. And Jasmine has done 3 videos. And I think I learned this initially from Eunice. Thanks, Eunice, for this. You may not know, but I learned this from you in the beginning about Jasmine's videos. 3 videos on support and resistance and her strategy. Jasmine is an intraday trader. So she's not necessarily a scalper, but I borrowed heavily from her strategy to fine-tune my scalping strategy. So this is not really, I can't really take all the glory for this strategy because I learned initially from Jasmine. So I'm going to just encourage you guys to watch her 3 videos, especially the new guys. Those videos are long, I know. They're about an hour long each. But if you want to become a good trader, especially with my strategy, I will insist, please watch them. They are in, I will share them. Jeremiah will share the 3 videos. And I'm going to be very strict about this, especially because we are going into a phase where yesterday Bernard launched for us 20 and 30 day campaign. And a lot of us have committed from next week to actually just go gung-ho on this campaign. So we may not necessarily have a lot of one-on-one time to sit with each and every individual in the team and teach them how we trade. We are going to do our level best, of course, to balance, but I would just want to encourage you guys, please just watch Jasmine's videos. There are 3 of them, 3 long videos. They say she repeats the same thing in the 3 videos, and I will repeat for the 4th time today as I share my strategy, the same thing she does, and just probably show you how I use her strategy, support and resistance, to actually trade. So let's get started. There's a website for the new people on the call. Again, there's a website called tradingview.com. Now, if you're not on tradingview.com, please write it down, note it down. You can open an account, a free account at tradingview.com. Tradingview.com is just a chatting website. And let me see. Maybe to make this more interactive, can someone just throw out a currency pair that you'd like me to analyze right now? And then I'll use that to teach on my strategy. Anyone? Any currency pair you'd like me to look at? Any currency pair you'd like me to look at? CAD JPY. James, you went fast. Well done. I'll look at CAD JPY and maybe, okay, fine. GBP CAD, GBP ISF. What is that, Vincent? Oh, USD. Okay, so I'll start with CAD JPY. I love CAD JPY. You guys will notice most of my signals are based off CAD JPY, GCAD as well, GBP odd. I really love CAD JPY. So let's look at CAD JPY. GBP USD, okay. And maybe you can ask questions if you want to. So I'm just going to clear my screen from all the things that you can see so that I can start this from the beginning. I'll try and do this as fast as I can because of time. I know some of you need to go to work or probably are at work and stealing your employer's time. Ha 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 ha. So we can't see your trading view screen. Ah, you can't see my screen. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen now, guys? Eunice, let me know if you can see my screen.
Lilian, your screen is still on the slides, the training slides.
And now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for that. I hadn't noticed that. Sorry. I think when I got out of the slides, it stopped the sharing. Okay, so let's look at CAD JPY together. This is basically my process every single time I look at a currency pair that I've not analyzed. So we're assuming this is a blank screen. I'm going to just make everything blank. When you get onto this website, you'll find this chart here, but it will be a different color. You'll notice that I've just edited my candlestick. This is a candlestick chart for the new people on the call to red and green. But I know when you get onto TradingView, sometimes they're different colors. So usually what I do is I go to the time frames. So I usually go to the lower time frames. So this means that I will start with the day chart. Wow, okay, clear. And yes, I believe I'm recording this session. Hopefully it's recording. So maybe I'll be able to share it later on. Bear with me as I clear my chat. You can tell I've been analyzing this thing for a while, so there are so many lines drawn already, but I just want to clear everything so that it's clean completely. Okay. Okay, so we are now on the day chart. So step one is to actually go down to the lower time frame, and in this case is the day chart. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. So I go on the day chart, and then what we are going to try and do is we are looking for we are going to draw our support and resistance lines, because this my trading strategy is based on support and resistance. If you've gone through the basics of the video of the academy rather, oh, there's a shortcut left. Click then remove all drawings. Thank you, Eunice. You see, I am a student always. Okay. So we at least we learned something new today. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just begin to draw my support and resistance lines. For anyone on the call who doesn't know what that means, support and resistance. When you look at the chart right now, you can see their highs in this price chart and their lows, right? Can everyone see that? Now, support is basically the lows and resistance is basically the highs. And you can see there are multiple highs and lows. Okay. Now, usually what I do is up here, you can see this is the time frame icon, then this is the candlesticks chart icon. So what I do is I would change the candlestick chart into a line chart. Some people would ask me why. I'll give you an example. Like when you look at CAD JPY right now, there's the wicks. If you're familiar with the wicks, you can see here there's a long wick. Someone might ask me, where do I plot my line? Do I plot it here, 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 as in? So for me, I simply just change this chart into a line chart. And right now, we can see very clearly the highs and the lows. Are we together? You can type 111 if you're together. Are we together? Somebody type 111 if you're together. Okay, so we can clearly see the highs and the lows. Awesome. Now, on the left, there is what we call a toolbar. These are the different tools that you can use to draw or to make your charts look fancy and all. But they're also the tools that I'm going to use to draw my lines. Now, the main tool I work with at the beginning is the trend line tools, as you can see here. Yeah. So in the trend line tools, there are different types of trend lines. I work with the horizontal line. So now my area of focus is where? Is here. This is where the price is at 82.664. As a scalper, this is the area that I'm really interested in terms of trying to determine, is price going to move up or is going to move down? So I'll start from here. Now, if I look left, I'm trying to look for the highs and the lows. So I'm just going to quickly plot these lines. And if I'm making sense, please let me know. If I'm not making sense, please let me know. If you're getting stuck, please let me know. So that's that. I'm a perfectionist. You will notice you don't have to do what I'm doing in terms of trying to make the lines just touch the exact tip, but that's what I do. I try and make sure that the lines touch the highs, the tips, the tips and of both the highs and the lows. I try and do that because it works for me. I don't know why I do that. I think it's because like I said, I'm a perfectionist, so I try to draw my lines perfectly. Now for me, I've drawn 4 lines. I think for me this is enough. Yeah, because we're on the day chart. And price, if I zoom in to, let's say, the lower time frame, we can see when you zoom in, you have a bigger picture. So for me, where I'm interested is here and going up or down. So I won't necessarily plot any other lines on the day chart. I won't focus too much on these other areas. Then once I do that, let me zoom in. Please show again where you get the line chart. Please show again where, Lois, where I get the line chart is up here. Remember this icon here? It was initially a bar chart, but now it's a line chart because I've changed it because I was looking for my support and resistance line. I was looking to plot my support and resistance lines. So that's done. Now, if you look at this line here, you can see it touched this bit, which is a resistance for this price point. But here, it's a support for this price point. So guys, technically, your support line can alternate to become a resistance. Yes, I hope that's clear. Okay, and then let's go back to the next tool that I use, the geometric shape. Here, the brush shape. So I'll pick the rectangle geometric shape. We have the brush and all this. I'll pick the rectangle one. Yeah. Let me zoom in. And I'll simply, this I learned from Jasmine. Don't ask me why, but it worked when I used it and I just moved on from there. So I'll plot my lines. Wait. What I'm doing right now is if I zoom in, even on the, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to explain. Okay, so as a scalper, you want to be able to know, what we are looking for usually is 10 pips, right? So price moving 10 pips, if I was to use this measuring tool down here, this is a measuring tool here. So if I was to calculate 10 pips, it's probably until here, right? Now, this is relevant, and this becomes relevant when I go to my day chart. Because in my day chart, what I'm now plotting is the zones, the areas in between the support and resistance lines. Because as we have seen in the 15-minute chart, it's the price as a scalper, we are trying to target 10 pips up or down. Yeah, so we need the zones to actually be able to give us a much more clearer picture of where we can where price is moving, or where we can what I call capture price or trap price. I hope that's clear. So I hope that's clear. If that's clear, type 1111. Okay, then let's move on. So what I'm doing right now is using the rectangle tool to plot my zones. So in this case, I click on this. Sorry. I'll come here. Can you guys see this toolbar below here? There's a toolbar here. Can you see this? Now, this toolbar, when I click on my zone here, all I want to do, I want to edit it. So I'll come to my settings here on the toolbar. And on the toolbar, you can see the style, which gives you the border and the background. If you notice, mine is pink. You can actually change this to whatever color you want, yellow, green, can you see this? I use pink, maybe because I'm a girl, I don't know, but for visibility, pink has worked for me. The borders, basically you can increase the borders. As you can see, it becomes thicker, but for me, I prefer to just keep it simple like that. Then when you go to coordinates, which is the important bit, you have two price bars. The first one, price 1 and price 2. Now, in price 1, what I do is I type minus 999, and here I type 999. Have we seen that? So it gives you minus 50,000 and 15,000. Then I press OK. Are we together? Then I come here and I simply copy this. Instead of doing it again, I just copy. So I come to this toolbar again. I choose my cloning tool and I clone. And I just keep cloning the same zone. And then I drag and drop these zones smack in the middle of my support and resistance lines. Are we together? I hope we are. Great. Okay. Now, what next do I do? So step 1, you plot support and resistance. Step 2, you plot the zones. Step 3, we take back the line chart into the candlestick chart. So if you're taking notes, just note what I'm doing. In this case, let me just zoom in because the day has just started, obviously. We can see that this candle here. Okay, guys, for the new people on the call, on the candlestick chart, every candle represents a time frame. Now that we're on the day chart, every single candle that you see here, the red or the green going up and down, represents a day, the day time frame. So this candle here that I think has just begun is representative of the day candle, right? We can see that, we can all see that. Thanks, Dino, but awesome. Our student always, nice. Okay, now, so what I do next, I've plotted my support and resistance lines. All I want to do now is to now begin to what I call trap price. And how do I trap price? I trap price by using trend lines. We can all see evident trends within this day chart, going up and going down, going up, going down, going up, going down, going up, going down, going up. Is that clear? So for me, on the CAD JPY pair right now, I would simply begin to plot my trend lines. For the new people on the call, if you watch the videos in the basic section, you will learn how to plot trend lines. I will try not to just focus too much on that, but I will just do it literally here. And this may look like it's a bit complicated, but it's not. So I've plotted my trend line and I use the wicks of the base of the candles. So in this case, let's say if you're going to really be perfect about it, I just try and make sure that it's touching the wicks of the candles, there and there. Over time, this becomes easier. You don't have to be so pedantic about it. Then I just come and clone Eunice. Now that you've learned something new, I clone the same line and I simply drag it because I just want the same line to trap price. And again, I go to the wicks there. So for me, this is currently still on an uptrend. CAD JPY for me on the day chart is still on an uptrend, even if there's a candle here that is indicating a downward trend. For now, I'm still on an uptrend. Are we clear on that? Okay, so we move on. I've trapped price in the day chart using this trend line going up. Then I move to the lower time frame. So I use 4 time frames: the day chart, the 4-hour chart, and the 15-minute chart. So as we can see here, is there an opportunity in the, usually if what I try to do is I try to ensure that this support line here, this support line here at the base, I make sure that it touches the bottom of the wicks of the candles, and then I try and do the same for the other line. So for me, I would leave it at that on the 4-hour chart. I'm trying to look for a trend. It looks like it's coming down. Yeah, it looks like price is coming down. If I can zoom in, because it's like if I was to draw a line here, from here to here, there's a bit of a downtrend there on the 4-hour chart. But because the market has just opened, so you can't really see this trend very clearly. Sometimes I will go on the 1-hour chart to look for a more definite trend, which is here. So we can actually, okay, let me just go back to the 4-hour first. Just put the line. So I'm just trapping price. It may look complicated, but it really isn't. Then I'll go to the 15-minute chart. And as you can see on the 15-minute chart, this is already telling me a story. Guys, can you see the story that this is telling you? Price is on an uptrend, yes. However, it's been trying to break down here. Then, of course, the market opened with a gap. And that's why I keep on telling people, don't try and avoid leaving trades over the weekend. I personally try and avoid leaving open trades over the weekend, because you can find that the market has opened with a gap either upwards or downwards. So depending on where you had analyzed the chart going, you could be negative by the time the market opens. So the market opened up here and it moved up and came down. Now, as we trapped price here, we can clearly see the movement is within, yes, price is going up on the day chart. However, on the 4-hour, it's going down, which is very evident. It came down here, it went up here, it came down, and it's doing its thing going down. Now, as a trader or a scalper, what does all this mean? We can clearly see our support and resistance lines, yes? We can then see the zones that we plotted, yes? These 4 zones, right? What I will do is I will add an indicator. And my indicator here will be Ichimoku. So I'll come, I think I deleted the ones I had put. So Ichimoku. And I know Miss GJ loves Ichimoku, guru of Ichimoku Cloud. So I will delete this one. And you can see my Ichimoku Cloud here. I will edit this Ichimoku Cloud so that it can become more visible. Here, color. No, what I'm trying to do is to make it more visible. So you guys can now see the red cloud and the green cloud, right? That I've edited in settings so that it becomes clearer. Then I'll usually come, and because I don't want so much noise, okay, here let's say the lagging span, the green line, I will also make it a bit more clearer. And then the blue line, I'll also make it clearer. For the new members on the call, you'll understand what blue line means, or I can just increase its thickness there. Maybe not just increase its thickness. And then the red line. So we can clearly see, let me increase the green line as well. So we can all clearly see the different lines here, the red line, the green line, and the blue line, right? And again, these also tell a story. But usually what I do, sometimes I hide the green line and I just leave the two other lines. Sometimes I even remove everything. But for now, I'll just, because I want this will be important. So what you can see right now on the Ichimoku cloud, this is the Ichimoku cloud. The Ichimoku cloud comes with this red portion here of the cloud that looks like it's upside down. And then you see the green section, which looks like it's upright. And technically, the red portion here indicates a downtrend. The green portion here indicates an uptrend. That's just the basic rules. Then with the lines, we have the red and blue line. What we learned from our master educators basically is, for example, in this situation, when the red line crosses below the blue line, it's usually an indication of a sell. And when it crosses above the blue line, it's usually an indication of a buy, like in this scenario here. Now, for me, it's good to have this information, but as you can see, sometimes it's not necessarily, it depends on, how can I explain this? On where price actually goes, because sometimes you can enter for a buy here. Like, let me give you an example, a real life example right now. The red line crossed above the blue line. So you could have entered for a buy here. Let's see, let me just see how many pips this are. Let's say you're scalping and you're looking for 10 pips. Please zoom your screen. Zoom my screen. Sorry guys, I'm trying to, okay. So red line crossed above the blue line. As a rule, when the red line crosses above the blue line, it's a buy. If it's above the cloud, it's a buy. It's a strong signal of a buy. But here's a perfect example of where you can get caught in a trade and it doesn't hit your 10 pips. My strategy is to ensure that you catch 10 pips. Some traders look for 4 pips, 3 pips, 6 pips. I look for 10 pips. So if I cannot see my 10 pips, I will not enter the trade. Is that clear for everyone on the call? Yeah, because for example, in this situation where the red line crossed above the blue line, we could have easily said it's above the cloud, tick. It has crossed above, tick. It's a buy, strong indication of a buy. This candle here is a green candle, so it looks like it's going up. But if I come and measure my 10 pips, my 10 pips is up here, is somewhere here. Now, as you can see right now, price is yet to hit 10 pips. So if I'd entered a trade here, I would be caught up in this. For me as a trader, this is not a good entry right now. And it's possible it's also because the market has just opened, so there's not a lot of volume or volatility. So price is struggling to attain its full 10 pips. Yeah. So for me, this is not a good trading opportunity at all because my strategy targets 10 pips. So what would I do? Let's see. I want to look back. In this scenario, again, if the red line went below, you'd have taken a sell, yeah, over here. So over here meaning like somewhere around here. If I am to do around here. So probably up here, you could have actually gotten your 10 pips down. But here's the thing. How do I explain this? In as much as these indicators give good scenarios for entering trades, for me, I use them more as confirmations rather than the rule, where my focus usually is on the trend lines, really, and my zones, my support and resistance zone. So let me show you what I mean. Yeah. For example, in this scenario, let's say the market opened here. I am on this support and resistance line. I've already plotted my support trend line going down and my resistance trend line going down. I have backtested this strategy, and for the longest time, the way price moves is usually within a trend, whether it's up or it's down. So for me, let's say I entered here on this candle, on this initial opening candle, and it's within this zone. Can you see this zone? So there's a support line here, and there's a zone here. So what am I looking for? I would much rather than trade within this zone, I prefer to trade from zone to zone. So either up or down. Because and let me explain why. Usually the way sometimes, especially when the market is opening, it's a bit slow. So it takes a while before it makes its decision on how it's moving. So for me, I usually just wait. Fine, my trend is up. That's one. So for sure, I'm sure if I entered here, the trend is showing me up. Then I've drawn my lines and it's showing me down. So it's very easy to now try and find and figure out, do I go down? Do I go up? Like even if I was to enter a trade up here and let me say measure 10 pips, I would not have made it on this trade because it reversed and it went up. So I usually wait for other confirmations. For me, once price has broken the support and resistance of the zone, that is when I'm interested in getting into a trade. Is that clear for everyone on the call? If that is clear, please type 111. Is that clear for everyone? Perfect. So do not enter at the beginning as a new trader. You can enter as you get used to it, because sometimes I do enter trades within the zone, but I'm just trying to make you guys turn into a very safe trader where you can actually guarantee your pips. Okay, so I rarely will encourage you to trade within the zone until you become an experienced trader, yeah, or until you become a patient trader. Scalpers tend to be very impatient at the beginning. Right now I'm a patient scalper, but I know when you're starting out, you can get impatient because you're still getting used to the nuances of losing money, seeing red and blues. So what I say, first learn how to trade from zone to zone. So in this case, if the market open, what I would do, I would wait for my confirmation so that the trend is actually going down or up. In this case, it went down. It tried to break this support resistance downwards. It did not succeed, and then it reversed and started going up. Now, before I jump into this candle here to go up into a buy, I would wait to see if it breaks here into a buy. Am I clear? So what I would do is once I see the candle up here, for me, I would then jump into a buy. Why? Because the way price tends to move is up, down, up, down, up, down. My trend lines are a very, very strong indicator of the trend. A very strong indicator of the trend, regardless of what the other indicator is telling me. Okay, so for me, this is a confirmation that I can actually take 10 pips up because there's a ceiling here. So I could literally jump into this trade here on this candle, or even I would wait for, again, if you're going to be a safe trader, I would wait for this candle to close. And immediately the next candle starts and it shows an upward trend, I would actually ride it up fast. I have backtested this strategy and it works perfectly every time. Are we clear until there? Are we clear, guys? If you need me to repeat anything, please let me know. Anyone needs me to repeat anything? So as a trader, I would, as a scalper who's looking for 10 pips, just 10 pips, if I look at this white section in between the zones, yeah, if I entered here, my 10 pips would be somewhere here. So literally on the next candle, as soon as I see it going in the upward direction, I would enter for my 10 pips. Why would I be confident about this trade? Because I know for a fact that price will always go up to this zone or come down to this zone. And this is where trading as a patient trader comes in. Yeah. And then, of course, because I'm still on an uptrend, going by the Ichimoku cloud, going by my day chart trend line, I know for sure price is still on an upward movement. So I would literally enter here and I would actually go all the way up to this. If I'm not taking 10 pips, I would actually go all the way up to this resistance line area on my zone. So you can actually take more than 10 pips. But if you're starting out, just catch your 10 pips from here to here and get out. If you're more experienced like myself, I would actually get in here and go all the way to the next zone. Why? Because this line confirms that this is the ceiling. Are we together? Perfect. Awesome. And then I would now enter here, take my profit, and get out. Whatever happens, I would then wait. Now, for me, my target on a daily basis is, remember I spoke earlier about having a goal and a target, is to make like anywhere between $100 to $200 a day. Okay? I'm happy with that. I can make more. If I make more, I'm happy. But if I make my $100 to $200 a day, I'm good. So that would mean if, let's say, depending on your lot size and depending on, usually I calculate about four trades in a day. Yeah, what from my experience, I'm able to take 4 to 5 trades in a day using this strategy of 10 pips. Then I just manage my lot size. Okay, so I don't look for too many trades. The only reason that I sometimes look for many trades in a day is because I'm trying to support the team to give them more pips. So you'll find that sometimes I may have thrown a trade for you guys, but I don't necessarily enter it because I've actually hit my target for the day. Are we clear? So as a trader, have your target for the day. How much do you want to make? Calculate in terms of pips. How many pips do you need to make to hit your daily target based off your initial trading capital? Is that okay? Now, in this case, I've gotten in here and I've gotten out. The question would be, would you then continue assuming, because you're on an uptrend, the cloud is telling you go up, that this is still an uptrend? No. For me, I would wait. Now, there's an indication here on the cloud that there's an upcoming downtrend because the red line is below the blue line. So for me, what I always usually, what I've observed, the way price moves down a channel or up a channel, it comes down, bounces off support, goes up like that. Sometimes it tries to break. Now, if it broke, like here on this section, I hope you can see this. Let me remove this tool. Price broke here, right? Now, do you continue going up? The answer is no. You just wait. Because if you had entered for another buy here, you'd be caught up in a very, very bad downtrend. But for me, this was very clear that this was not going to break. And if it broke, I would wait for maybe 1 or 2 candles to confirm the continuous uptrend based on the cloud. Yeah. Now let's look for another opportunity here. So price has come down. So let's say you did your entry here. I would actually not enter on this red cloud, on this red candle. I would wait until, again, for newbies, until these red candles have broken this support, okay, and are now below the support. I would actually do an entry here for a sell. This is just me. When you're more seasoned, you can actually enter here on a sell and ride it down all the way to the next zone. Are we good? But in the beginning, wait for your confirmations because price can end up coming down here and going back up and breaking and continuing. So I wait for these zones are very strong indications for me on where price is headed. So since it's broken here, this candle has started below. It came this last candle here before, if you can see it. This candle here closed below this zone. So I know without a doubt, because I've backtested this, and because this channel is going down, that the next candle will be a down candle. So I actually enter for 10 pips all the way down. And if you can see, it actually did what it needed to do because 10 pips from here is about here. And I get out. Whether it continues down or not, So I've done my first trade, I've done my second trade. So I'm looking for 2 more trades, right? So if I'm to look on the same pair for 2 more trades, I would again wait. I again remember, I don't advise if you're a new trader to trade within the zone. I do trade within the zone because I know what I'm doing. But in the beginning, before you have perfected the trading from zone to zone, and you want guaranteed pips, try and trade in the white regions. They are usually, I've back tested it and it's usually more accurate. So let's say, for example, this candle broke here. Now, the question is, do you enter for another sell? Right? I would not, I would wait for this next candle to confirm the downtrend is still going all the way till here, till my next support line. This candle, as you can see, it tried to come down, but it came and it closed here. And the next candle started going up. So for me, I would know this is the end of this trend going down, and I would just enter another 10 pips going up. Alternatively, because price is still going down, you could still enter here for a downtrend, but it would be risky. It would be very risky. Always wait for your confirmations. We can see ahead here that the red line is now kind of moving down, and it might just cross below the blue line. If I can zoom in, I don't know if you can see the blue line here, right? And you can see the red line. So the red line looks like it wants to cross. That would maybe be an indication that the downtrend is continuing. Now, that's one. Another thing you can do, if you entered here for 10 pips, you just, you could still enter, but I'd only recommend you do that if you're a patient trader. If you're not a patient trader, don't, because it means you have to wait for all these candles to go up, then come down to get your 10 pips, because literally you still got your 10 pips here. If you're to look all the way, you actually got 13, more than 10 pips up to here. Yeah. So for me, when I started trading, I found that it was easy. It's easier to get in and out of the market quickly in terms of blood pressure. But when you become a more seasoned trader, you can actually just wait for the market to do what it's doing, because you know without a doubt that this is a downtrend, regardless of what is happening with the cloud here. Are we together, guys? If we're together, please type 111. If you're understanding what I've just talked about, please type 111. If you have a question, this is the time to ask. Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? No one with a question, so we are good. So who can tell me what they would do in this scenario? Anyone? This scenario here. What would you decide to do as a trader, as a scalper, looking for 10 pips? I'll answer your question, Honor. I just want someone to answer the question first. What would you do here in this scenario? Anyone? What would be your interpretation? Anyone? Nobody? I would wait because the market looks like it's indecisive, consolidating. That's okay. Exactly. So technically, as Eunice has said, the market is actually consolidating. You look for highs and lows. So for me, this here is not a good trading opportunity at all. I would wait and see whether the trend is going to break this support line. As soon as I see the candles breaking this support line, it confirms for me that for sure this is a continuing downtrend. So I would very confidently trade downwards on a sell, despite the fact that we're in this green cloud. Because what can happen also is the price can come down all the way here and then bounce up and actually break. So I would wait for it to come down here and break. For me, though, I think that CAD-JPY might just do its thing. It might just break. But right now, also because the red line wants to go below the blue line, but I would not enter this trade. I do not want to enter trades that are not sure trades. I want to enter sure trades where I'm guaranteeing my pips. And that is how I'm able to give you guys signals with a lot of confidence, because I know for sure how price is moving. If you look at this trend line here that is going up, there's still an indication of an uptrend, right? There's still an indication of an uptrend. So you could do a sell and then it continues going up. So always wait for your confirmations. Always have at least 3 minimum confirmations. So someone asked me what indicators I use. I use the cloud. I also use RSI, as you can see here, just to give me an indication of the selling and buying pressure. For those who don't know how to use RSI, RSI is very simple. It simply gives you an indication of overbought and oversold areas. So for example, in this scenario, if we look up here, yeah, the price point here was above 70. With RSI, the indicators are 70, the parameters are 70 and 30. So this section here is 70 and this section here is 30. So anytime the price is above 70, it gives an indication that the currency pair is overbought and you should begin to look for a sell position. And then when it's below 30, it means that it's oversold and you should be looking for a buy position. The thing is, though, it may not necessarily always be perfect, because sometimes you can see RSI is consistently up. It's overbought, but for some reason it's still going up. And then you enter for a sell too early. And if you're not leveraged, you end up now, that's how you end up now banning accounts before now price goes back to to its trend, the way it's supposed to trade. So I'm the kind of trader who trades with the trend. I rarely trade against the trend unless I have seen a good opportunity. I don't gamble. I don't take risks. I'm a very conservative trader. Yes, I'm a scalper, but I'm a very, very conservative trader. Anyone who has traded with me knows I don't just jump into trades. Even when other traders call the trades, I will always look at my indicators or my trend lines and what it's telling me, what story it's telling me. So I think if there are no questions, as you can see, the market is still, doing its thing. Let's look at another pair. Someone had said GBP what? Let me see. GBP what? GBP. What trades had you guys asked me to look for? I'm trying to look for what GBP USD. Kate and Catherine. Okay. Hi Lilo, what happens when you trade within the white zone but in the cloud? Is it a safe entry. What happens if I trade in the white? Let me see. White, like this white area here. Just hold on, sorry. If I'm to understand your question, Vincent, what happens with, I'm trying to, can you ask that question in a different way? Vincent, try and re-ask that question so that I understand exactly what you're asking. GBP/USD, okay. And then sometimes, guys, I'll also like keep plotting trend lines within the trend line. Let me try and look at GBP/USD, which had already, I know, plotted. Let me see how it's looking. GBP/USD completely broke the channel. It was last week, it was on an uptrend, but it broke. I think there was a lot of news and it broke and it went below. So it's, let's look at the day chart. On the day chart, it was on an uptrend, but it looks like it might break the trend and begin to go down, just because the cloud is also giving me a downward indication. And we can see this red candle, which indicates a downtrend. And also on the cloud, the red line is below the blue line. So it looks to me like it wants to change this trend. The trend is up, but if I'm to look at a trend here, it could be changing this trend to go down. But then let's look at the 15-minute again. Okay, on the 15-minute chart, if I'm to scalp, what I would do, I would come quickly. Okay, I have my trend line there and just plot my trend line like that. Hit, clone it, drag it to the next high like that. And my safe assumption is, guys, if I saw this early, price is moving in an upward direction based on my trend. Can we see that? Can we all see that? Can we all see that? So for me, this would be a possible buy on GBP/USD. Yeah. But I would always wait, like now we're in the 7-minute candle. At this point in time, I wouldn't want to enter right now. I would wait for the next 15-minute candle to start. I trade on the 15-minute candle, by the way. I don't use any other time frame to do my entries. I only do my entries on the 15 minutes. So my assumption would be this would actually go all the way up and come back down. But of course, this is me, my what I'm seeing. Let me see how many pips that is. If it's 10 pips, it's a good trade. It's not 10 pips, so for me, I would not enter this trade. It's 7 pips. Remember, I only look for 10 pips. I don't want to trade anything less than 10 pips because I'm doing my math and I have my target for the day. So I'm always just looking for 10 pips. So, but I have a feeling, Kate, that this price will go up. Yeah. And because, let's say, for example, we are down here, it would actually go up all the way to this zone. Sorry. From down here all the way up to here. Like down here all the way up to here. but that would be depending on when I saw the price, because I'm seeing it now. So let's see. This is actually 10 pips. If I'm to trade from this price point all the way to this resistance here, this would be my exit, my take profit, this line here at this price, 1.26946. So I'll do a buy here at 1.26846 and ride it up all the way here, or take profit where these lines cross. But because it's less than 10 pips, it's not an interesting trade for me, but I think it's going up for sure. Any other currency pair you can look at? That is a good entry right now. What I meant is, does the cloud being a trend indicator affect the candle movements in the cloud, either up or down, depending on the current trend? Does the cloud being a trend indicator affect the candle movements? Either up or down, depending on the current trend. Vincent, I'm really trying to understand your question. The cloud does not affect the candle movement. I'm really trying to understand your question, Vincent. I'm not able to understand your question. Let me look at your previous question. What happens when you trade within the white zone but in the cloud? Is it a safe entry? Let's look for a scenario. Let's backtest. Let's see. Let me hide these lines. These lines can be confusing also sometimes. Just delete this, just to make it a bit. Wait, I'm trying to look for a way to answer Vincent's question. Look at it again. A safe entry is only after you've done. Let me just summarize. A safe entry is only after you've done your confirmations. My confirmations for me are my zones and the support and resistance areas. My strong confirmations are the supports and resistance and the trend lines. My other confirmations are the cloud and the red and blue line of the cloud. However, I am more attuned to focusing on the support and resistance and the trend line. Actually, trend line for me is what works. So whether it's on the white zone or not, the trend line is what confirms to me the direction of price. So whether it's in the cloud or not, because sometimes you can be in the cloud and let's say you're in the green cloud and you're thinking it's going up, but it doesn't. The trend line for me is what has proven to be what confirms the correct trend. I hope I've tried to answer that question. When I was teaching about trading from zone to zone in terms of the white zone, it was basically to just get you guys into a space whereby you don't just jump into a trade because you're seeing a downtrend or an uptrend. Yeah, trading from zone to zone, for example, in this case, if you look at GBP USD right now, if you look at this space, this let me even delete this line so that it's clearer. This space here, this white space here, it gives me an indication of how to trade. So if price came from all the way up here, came down here, it closed, and the next candle came and actually confirmed a downtrend under the zone and closed below the zone, I would then immediately enter for 10 pips down. Then I would close and wait to see, is this continuing down, which it didn't. It started doing its thing here. So immediately I see the next candle, usually the second or third candle, going in the other direction, I would enter for another buy here and go all the way up here and just keep on doing that. Now, in this case, it actually, I've taken my trade, so I wait for the next candle. Then I wait for this other candle, thinking it's going down, but it didn't, it went up. Okay, so again, not a good entry, I would wait again. As soon as this, so that's basically how I trade. But as you can see, I do a lot of trend lines. I'm trying to look for an actual opportunity that we can all enter right now. As you can see, GBP USD, because again, the market is slow, it has still been here. Another candle has started and it is still here at the same price. That's why I don't like to trade on Mondays. Let's look at GBP JPY. I would come here on my trend line. I would draw my lines here. I'm trying to look for an entry that we can all take. This is a 14-minute candle, 15-minute candle, 1 minute in. We're in the zone. So I don't like to play in the zone. I will not play with you in the zone right now. I wouldn't take this trade. Although my trend looks like it's going up. Yeah. However, I would not take this trade. If I had gotten into the trade like below here at this base of my zone, I would then take a buy going up. But because we are somewhere in the middle here, it's not for me a good entry necessarily, because one, price, if you look back here, it tried to break up here and it didn't succeed and came back down, which means that even if it gets here, it might not break up. It might still come back down. So I wouldn't enter for a buy here, not at all. So let me look for another pair, GBP AUD. I think they're all behaving the same, as you can see. They're all consolidating kind of. Let me look for something else. Euro. Try Euro USD, okay. As you can see, I don't always have to do my zones because I've kind of gotten used to seeing patterns. So I don't necessarily always draw zones. Sometimes I can just see the way price is moving. I feel like this price is trying to break through this cloud on Euro and ZD. And you can actually safely take a buy on Euro and ZD all the way up. So let's see, how many pips are this? From this price point, actually more than, yeah. So actually Euro and ZD is actually a good trade to take. We are 11 minutes in the candle. Yeah, I think it might move slowly, but I think this is, I believe the price is trying to break through the cloud to go on an uptrend on Euro and ZD. So if you guys want, you can take a buy on Euro NZD. Let's look at Euro USD. I guess it might be behaving the same way. Just do trap price here. Draw my trend line. I'm looking for 10 pips only, not more, not less. This is not 10 pips. Let me look at something else. Give me other pairs to look at, guys. Euro GBP. That's a pair I like to trade as well. They're all moving the same way. They're all trying to trade because like in this case for Euro GBP, as you can see, price came down, it broke down here, and it tried to continue downwards, but didn't succeed, and is now on an uptrend. So I feel like that's what's generally happening. Something else I do on Mondays is I go into the news. I try to read up on what's happening in the news. What upcoming news do we have? And I do that on Forex Factory. Again, we are late in this entry, so not a safe bet. I would wait for it maybe to get here, then come back down and scalp downwards. So what you can also be, when you get used to this strategy, it becomes so simple because you can literally scalp here, get out here, take a sell here, come back down here, take a buy, all the way down and take your profit here, and keep going up as it trends. That's why I like the trend. And usually, guys, the trend is your friend. Irrespective of what the cloud is saying here, that it's on a downtrend. This strategy helps me usually to trade very accurately when you get used to it. I'll just stick to the basics of trading from zone to zone for now, for the new people on the call, and for anyone who hasn't really mastered my strategy. But you'll find that once you master this strategy, you can literally trade any and every pair. I use the same strategy for Bitcoin. I use the same strategy for indices. In this case, Bitcoin looks like it's on a downtrend. It was on an uptrend, but it looks like a very clear downtrend. What I try to do, like you can see, I try to just make sure my wicks and bodies are accurate. I clone it. It looks like a very clear downtrend to me. So price can actually go down till here. How many pips are this? These are many. Bitcoin is many. So Bitcoin, I feel like it's, we can check it later. You can check it later. If you put a note, I believe it's on a downtrend. You could actually enter for 10 pips down. If you look at indices, let's say US 30, although I don't know if US 30 is awake right now. Is it awake? Yes, they are awake. US 30 actually, indices actually, for your information, they're futures. So they open at 9 a.m. and close at 11 p.m. So you can't trade them any other time. In this scenario, this is a clear uptrend. It's broken this resistance completely and it's going up. The cloud is telling me it's still going up. The question is how far up? Question is how far up? It's going up, but there could be a dip ahead. So I mean, the 6 minute, I wouldn't enter now. I would wait for the next candle to know. So for me, I'd always, I try and do my entries on the 15 or 14 minutes, 13 minutes. That's when I do my entries. So rarely will I get it into a trade at 5 minutes because I'm already in, that trade has already, it's already happening. I try to get in the beginning. So I usually wait. I would wait for this candle to close. Right now, though, I would not enter any trade on US30. So guys, I think maybe we can come to the end of the call if there are no other questions. I'm hoping that I've answered all your questions. Thank you for staying on the call for this long. It's now 9:24. I'd like to release you all. And we'll see you soon. Any other questions? Any other questions? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Thank you, guys. See you when we see you. Stay blessed. Thanks, Eunice. Take care. Have a fantastic trading week. And yeah, let's make some money. Thanks. Bye.